The glory of the Lord shine on you. Arise, shine, for your light now has come. Women of influence, the glory of the Lord shine on you. Oh, the glory of the Lord shine on you.
Hey, Victoria Creepy, a woman of influence. Thank you so much for joining me for another great and marvelous show today. If you have any comment, please share it with me. But sit back, relax, and let's go into the show. It will be a blessing if I hear your voice in the show. God bless you.
Women of influence, the glory of the Lord shine on you. Arise, shine, for your light now has come. Women of influence, the glory of the Lord shine on you. Oh, the glory of the Lord shine on you.
Hello, good afternoon, good morning, good evening, wherever you are joining us from. I'm so excited for today. Happy new month. We are still in the month of October. We're trusting God that this month is going to be excellent month. Please, this month is breast cancer awareness. So please, woman of influence, just go and please make sure that you are taking care of your girls. You know, it's very important. So if you haven't booked an appointment to do your annual, mammogram, please just go ahead and do it. We trust in God that we are fit and we are good, but those things also help. So please just go ahead and schedule them. And we are also looking at mental health and church and how we respond to it. Last week was just an amazing show. But before I introduce the awesome man of God this morning, please let's use just a few minutes of our time and share the video. You know it's going to be good. I mean, last week it was so good for the week we keep on talking about. So I want us to share it and share it with your friend. So Woman of Influence, you know, we have Woman of Influence page, Facebook page. Then I have Victoria Creepy. Okay, moving forward, we're not going to screen from Victoria Creepy. We're trying to build Woman of Influence page. So for last week we did that. I know most of you are on my page. So today, my page, I'm just going to share Woman of Influence page there so all of us can be able to watch on Woman of Influence. So please, let's use the few minutes for me to even figure out all the sharing and just share the show. Then I will introduce the man of God, then we will go into the show. So once again, thank you so much. If you haven't liked Woman of Influence page, please do that because it's really help us. So share with a Woman of Influence right now. I'm trying to share it on Victoria Creepy's page too. So let me do this. Okay, let me do it. So I'm sharing it on my page right now. So thank you so much. Those of you who are on my page, I just share it on my page. So please follow the link and let's all get into the show. It's going to be an awesome show. So I share it on my page right now. Thank you so much. Thank you so much. We're just going to be going into the show right now in a few minutes. In a few minutes, we're going into the show right now. Okay. Thank you once again. Thank you. Thank you, Minister Yvonne. Thank you for sharing. Thank you for joining us. Thank you so much. Thank you for joining us. And we are also on YouTube, so you can watch from YouTube too. So just let me know you are watching, and it's going to be awesome. Okay, we're just going to go into the show, and we'll use the time to share. Last week, we spoke about mental health and how the church responds to mental health. We have this awesome man of God, Reverend Dr. Frimpong, who, has been awesome with explanation and helping us to really understand how to deal with mental health from last Tuesday. And today, by the grace of God, he is here again, and I'm so happy. So, woman of influence, please let's welcome Dr. Kwame. Doc, thank you.
Hey, thank you so much for having us. Thank you, all of you, for watching. God bless.
Thank you so much. Can you please introduce yourself? What do you do? The PF and the FF and all those things. Sometimes I don't understand. Can you please let us know what you do and where your office is, and if anybody need help, how to contact you before we go into the show?
I'll be glad to, and thank you for the opportunity. So my name is Kwame Frimpong. So I am a marriage and family therapist. So I work with marriage, people about to get married and people who are marrying. I'm also an associate licensed professional counselor. That means we deal with anxiety, depression, all kinds of mental health that affect humanity. I have offices online. I have another office in Powder Springs. I have one more office in Winder, Barrow County. Yes. So I'm also a pastor. I work under the ministry of Bishop Frank Foswapia as one of the ministers in All Nations Church.
Yeah, so thank you so much. Doc, last week we were talking about how, sometimes the church respond.
Yes.
And even parents, when
Yes.
our children come home,
Yes.
they are depressed. We don't understand why they should be depressed. And they don't pay bills and all those things. So why are you depressed?
Yes.
I have said it again and again with my children. Yeah, but I have one parent that wanted to know the pressure that parents, put on children to, choose a particular field. Like, I want you to be a doctor. I want you to be an engineer.
Yes.
That kind of pressure.
Yes.
How do we, I know we have to encourage our children.
Yes.
But how can we deal with that? It's not a pressure, but it's a form of encouragement.
Encouragement.
What is the balance?
God bless us with our children.
Okay.
We are not Jesus in their life. We don't determine their destiny, do we?
No.
we don't determine their destiny, whether they're going to be doctors or engineers or pastors or mechanical, whatever they want to do. Parents, we don't determine that. But the pressure of us trying to let our children fulfill our dreams.
Okay.
Sometimes we feel like, when I was in Africa, we worked so hard, I couldn't get to the best school. So all that most of us, I'm from Africa, know is doctor.
Yeah.
What else?
Because I wanted to be a doctor.
I wanted to be a doctor.
Yeah.
So become a doctor, pharmacist, and that's it. That's all that we know. So we are not allowing the children to really have a space.
Okay.
I think that I'm also a parent.
Okay.
I have 3 daughters. We have 24, 19, and 17. So we are not speaking theory. We live it. We are with all the parents. But if you don't take care, you become the Holy Ghost in the life of your child.
Wow.
I think the prayer that as parents we must pray is that God, help me recognize their gift, their calling, their destiny. Give me some signs so that I can encourage them accordingly.
Okay.
But to put them in a box that they have to be let me see what is so funny. It is very possible for your child to be a straight A, and she or he doesn't want to be a doctor. Please.
Wow.
They want to be business. Pastor Kwame, he's good in science. It doesn't matter.
Wow.
Doesn't matter.
Okay.
They are good in it, but that is not what their heart is in that area. I remember one day, Pastor Creepy, Victoria, something happened. We went to Kennesaw University. One of my daughter is there.
Oh, okay.
And she always wants to do psychology.
Wow.
And so that day, she says, Daddy, I want to stop and do something else.
Ooh.
So when she stopped, she said what she wanted to do. My wife went to the car. My wife didn't want to
hear it. Yeah, that's so hard.
She didn't want to hear it. So I'm saying that to tell parents, if you put pressure on your children, I'm going to share with you this story that may not be the best, but I'm going to share with you. There is this parent that owns a business.
Okay.
And they want to their child to do business, to come and own the business. Yeah. They have good business. They're doing very well. So they've been talking to this child, but the child doesn't want to do anything with business.
Wow.
So you know what he did? When he goes to school, he goes to street.
Wow.
He's straight A's, but if you go to school and become a straight A and become a business in their family, he said, you know what? I don't even want to go to school at all. And the 4 years that they thought he was in school, he was on the street.
Wow.
Because of the pressure. He said, I don't want to go through the pressure.
Okay.
So our work with our children is going to be like the Holy Spirit who come alongside. Isn't it beautiful?
Yeah.
We come alongside and help our children open their eyes, explore this, explore this, explore this, explore this. Give them room, talk, but give them space. Find so many different angles to go. But if you really become like a die-hard Jesus, the pressure is too much for them.
Wow. Okay.
Yes.
And then another question too. This sister was asking why sometimes it's so hard for leaders, especially pastors, when we see somebody going through, mental health. Ours is to pray because the demons help them and all those things. But sometimes it's very hard for us to point it out. Yes. That, hey, I think this thing is not just prayer. Can you seek help? And she is also in your field. Okay. And she is saying that how can we help pastors to also help with that?
I think that there are several aspects of this. Number one is I think pastors need to introduce mental health in all churches. Okay. We need to introduce, just like we are doing the discussion of mental health. And so pastors will have to begin to let people know that it is okay to be depressed. It is okay. Everybody will be depressed in life. And then we begin to direct them toward professional help. Okay. So that the pastor is not trying to solve all these problems by himself. As the members begin to see pastors talking about mental health, mentioning it, talking about it, I believe like one time Bishop Frank was preaching, he says, he said, hey, this is the normal depression. If you are having clinical depression, go talk to Pastor Kwame. Okay. Or I'm not saying my name, but as we begin to emphasize the need for professional counseling. The members trust pastors. Okay. Most members, I believe that 85% of all church members trust their pastor. So that when you begin to point them to this, one day I was preaching in our church, and I said, do you know that 2 years ago, my wife and I went to see a counselor? I believe after church, one lady came and said, Pastor Kwame, wow, you of all people, who is above counseling? Nobody is above it. We continue to improve our lives. Yeah. So when we begin to tell them, the members, educate them, mirror it, model it for them, that this is a good thing to do, it will even reduce stigma in the church. It will even, so it's all about education from the leadership. But if the leadership begins to speak against mental health, then people are going to cover it. People are going to hide it, and they'll die in silence. So the key is education. The leadership must model it for the members to see that mental health, going to talk to a professional counselor is not wrong or bad, or it doesn't mean I'm weak or I don't have faith.
Yeah, so if you are joining us, awesome. Please, if you are looking for Victoria Creppy on Facebook with the show, The link is there from a woman of influence. So please, we are not screaming for Victoria Crepy page. We are screaming for woman of influence right now. So I could see the numbers are good. So it means you are coming. So please continue to come. Please share this, okay? This is a form of our education. This is how we do it. Woman of influence, we talk about normal things that Sunday morning, we can use our pulpit to preach it, but it's so hard for us. So that's what comes to Woman of Influence. So if you are joining me, please share it with your son, share it with your daughter, share it in the group, the WhatsApp group, share it there. It will amaze you how many people inbox us with some of the things that we are doing. So it is blessing people. So please continue to share it. It's just a blessing. And thank you. We are on YouTube right now, so you can also watch on YouTube. And we are on Instagram. You can watch on Instagram. But thank you so, so much. So we are going into today's show. Those are the questions that we have. We are talking about how can a Christian be depressed? Can a Christian be depressed? And so, Doug, I want to ask in the first place, what is depression? Because we have to know.
Yes. So I just want to read something from here that says, depression is a mental health characterized by persistent depressed mood. Or the loss of interest in activities, causing significant impairment in daily life. So depression is a mental health disorder which affect the way you think, the way you see things, how you feel, your mood, how you think. It affects your mental health. And there are two different types of depression. There is what we call normal depression, which is the feeling of sadness, losing interest in your usual activities. If you're a type of person who used to exercise, all of a sudden it's just like,
you don't want to exercise.
If you're reading your Bible, you just going to church, you stay in bed, I don't want to wake up. Oh boy, just lose interest.
In everything.
In everyday life. You don't feel like doing anything. You just shut down. And there is the normal depression, or what we call situational depression. Situational depression is, for example, you lose your child. There's a death in your family. You lose your job, for example, or you suffer rejection, for example, or when there is a significant major event in your life. Somebody can have wedding and be depressed. Yeah, it's just
too much.
Too much, and somebody can experience something powerful and then something even positive and still be depressed. But there is also a clinical depression. So clinical depression is the same thing as normal depression, but the severity and the frequency is different. When we look at clinical depression, the severity is very, very, it's very severe. And sometimes you can even shut down in your house for 2 weeks without taking a shower. Or you feel a constant, persistent mood of sadness. The feeling of hopelessness, the feeling of helplessness, the feeling that the future is not good, and today I don't get any help. I'm not able to see through. That is what happened to Elijah in the Bible. That is why we say depression doesn't matter whether it's a negative or a positive. Because yesterday, Elijah called for fire from heaven, and it burned 850 prophets. The next minute, he's depressed. Jonah preached in Nineveh. He preached powerfully. He became depressed. He said, Lord, kill me. How do you, in fact, the whole town got saved in one night of preaching. Does it make sense for a preacher goes to a town as wicked as Nineveh and you preach powerfully, everybody repent, then you go into depression? That doesn't even make sense. So it doesn't matter whether it's negative or positive, it can affect your everyday life. So there's a difference between clinical depression and severe depression, and normal depression. I want to tell our audience, please refrain from giving yourself diagnosis. Don't say, well, this is clinical, this is non-clinical. Don't do that. It is very always good to seek help from a professional person.
So normally when maybe a church member is going through that, and you ask them what is going on,
Right.
about 90%, they don't really know what is going on. Okay, they
Yes.
don't understand even why all of a sudden they've lost
interest, motivation is low.
Yes. So they don't know. So me as a pastor, what you do is you encourage them, and of course you pray for them.
Yes.
And the spiritual aspect, I mean,
Yes.
cast the demon that is sitting on them, and all those things.
Right.
But sometimes, don't you think that it's so hard to help somebody who is going through something that they themselves didn't know what it is?
Exactly. That is why I always say pastors and psychotherapists, us, must work together.
Okay.
It will be very helpful for every church to have, a professional person in your membership or in your leadership.
Yeah.
So sometimes you just, after you have prayed, you point the person to go sit down with the professional, because the word counseling and psychotherapy or psychotherapist are not the same, although we use them interchangeably.
But they are not the same.
No. So psychotherapist or psychotherapy is the process of healing emotional pain.
Okay.
Without medication.
Wow.
So when I sit down with somebody who is battling with depression, we use a lot of modalities, or what we call theoretical orientation. We use that to process through the issue that the person is dealing with without medication. That's what we call psychotherapy.
Okay.
Is the ability to get emotional healing without medication. And that is what professionals are trained to do.
Okay.
So if a person comes to church and says, I'm having this depression, I talk to Pastor Victoria, and you point a person to see a professional help, I think it's a good idea. Okay. Now, the reason why people feel uncomfortable, both pastors, the members, is because of the stigma attached to it.
Yes.
I want people to know today that depression is not crazy. It's not crazy. It doesn't mean that you don't have faith. It doesn't mean that you don't pray enough. It doesn't mean that you are not powerful. We have pastors who experience depression. All of us at one time are going to feel. There was a time I was pastoring a church in Raleigh. I just told myself, it's a matter of time. If I go, I just lose it. Everything. Because it's just too much pressure on my mind.
Okay.
So everybody in this life, from Adam to Jesus, will one day experience the feeling of sadness, the feeling of hopelessness, the feeling of, you're going to have that. Paul experienced it. So it's a normal thing that we are going to experience it. So if you're experiencing it, it's normal. Don't let stigmatize, in fact, the more you keep it, in fact, the strength of depression is in silence.
Okay.
The more you keep it silence, the stronger it gets.
Wow.
Because when you share with somebody, you put light on it.
Okay.
And if you're going to share it with the right person, because you don't want to share with somebody, hey, you are depressed? Really? You don't pray enough? That's why you're saying you have to pray, hey, pray like this, or do this. That shut the person down.
Wow. So what are some of the causes of depression? What cause? Yeah.
There is a biological cause. There is also a genetics in your family.
Okay.
In fact, if you know for sure that there is mental health issues in your family, it will be good for you to begin to take care of yourself. And that's just a fact.
Okay.
It's in the gene. So if you know that in your family your mother had, bipolar or depression or anxieties or anything like that in your family, you want to be careful about yourself. Now, mine wasn't mental health, but mine was headaches, migraines.
Wow.
That is why I don't eat sodium chloride. I'm careful all the things I eat, how I eat. I drink a lot of water. Yeah. I go to bed at a certain time. Okay. I know my mental power, my mental capacity, my emotional capacity, how much I can take.
Okay.
Because you are not God and I'm not God. So look at your family. So the causes number one is genetics in our family.
Okay.
It is also if you have had brain head injury. For example, if you had
maybe like car accident,
you fell, something hit you in your head, you really, if you can afford, do brain scan.
Okay.
Seizures, for example. A lot of people who suffer from seizures could have been saved from death if they had taken brain scan.
Wow.
Because if I were to show you brain scan and how it shows the issues that have happened, it's a matter of time before it manifests in the flesh. But we don't know. So that can cause that.
Okay.
So yeah, so those are all the different things. Things like rejection, divorce, separation, the loss of your job, losing your job, all that can cause depression in your life.
Wow. That is very, very. So now let's come to, I remember one time, and even last week I said it, that a friend of mine asked me whether I've ever been depressed.
Yes.
You know, because of how normally I carry myself. You know, so this friend asked me, he looked at me and said, you have some energy, girl.
Yes.
Like, have you ever, you know?
Physical.
And personally, I told her, maybe it came and I didn't know.
Yeah.
But let me ask this, can a Christian be depressed?
Christians get depressed all the time.
Okay.
From Adam to Jesus. All of us will be depressed at one time. Like you said, you didn't know.
Okay.
Everybody can be depressed. The feeling of sadness and hopelessness and helplessness is going to happen. From the Bible, Moses, Elijah, Paul, all of those guys experience depression. So I just want to talk to somebody today that if you are a Christian, it doesn't exempt you from the experiences of depression and sadness. You're going to feel sad. If you know, people get divorced. Divorce is not pretty. Most divorces are ugly. And if you are divorced and you have depression, it doesn't mean that you don't have faith. You know, disappointments in relationships can cause depression. You can invest a lot into that guy to marry you. He marries your friend. You cannot be depressed. Or you trusted your lady that she's there for you, and then she married your friend. That can cause a serious heart attack and depression. Everybody can be depressed. You can lose your job, your investment, your business that you have invested into. If you lose it, you can be depressed. As a Christian, it doesn't stop you from having mental health issues.
Wow. This is so good. This is so good. But then, man of God, how do we respond to it? How does a Christian, you know, respond to a depression?
Yeah.
How do we respond?
I think the first thing that we need to realize is to normalize it.
Okay.
That as Christians, we can be depressed. If you look at studies that I have done and all the research, the biggest problem that personally I think the body of Christ can begin to educate people is the stigma. Stigma. Yes. Stigma is keeping our children from not talking about depression. Stigma is keeping even pastors who are depressed don't want to even say that they are depressed because people will say that you're not powerful enough. You're supposed to be to pray up. So after you prayed up, so how do we educate? Recognize.
Okay.
Recognize that there's something going on with you. In our health as professionals, there are signs of burnout.
Okay.
There are signs that you are getting to the edge. You get angry quickly. You know, you get tired quickly. You lose your patience quickly. When you begin to see those signs, even as a leader, you realize too much stress, too much depression is going on. You really want to take a time to heal.
Yeah. Once you are here, let me say something. Even just yesterday.
Yes.
Because I don't want to forget. So
okay.
Just yesterday, I was telling Bishop that one of our spiritual fathers. Then we were watching a movie, and then I was saying that people are wicked. Then one of my spiritual father, you know, thought came in mind. The way sometimes when he said the word wicked, the way he stressed it, you could see hurt, betrayed, you know, and all those things.
Yes.
And we live in the era, in the generation that, you know, especially when it comes to pastors.
Yes.
It's like you cannot avoid people betraying you. It's like the food that we eat every day. So you are going through people betraying you, people lying on you, people rejecting you. And all those things are going on.
It will get onto you.
Yes. So how do you handle, is there any way you can handle this work as a professional and yourself?
So here's what we do. Look at Moses.
Okay.
The Bible says the most humblest person ever lived. Numbers 12 is Moses.
Yeah.
Do you know how he talked to God? When he went to God, that he was having too much issues? If you look at Moses' words, he says, did I bring up these children?
People, yeah.
He was talking to God, but he was very mean. Why? Because the stress was high. When the load gets into you, it changes everything.
Wow.
You know, it changes everything. And Moses, you could tell from the way he was talking to God that the guy had had enough. And it's very, very important that as leaders, we recognize the signs.
Okay.
You must look for signs.
Okay.
Signs that you are getting to the edge. That is what they teach us as professionals.
Okay.
You must always look for signs that, for example, so let's say I saw 5 clients yesterday with bipolar. Let's say today I'm seeing 3 with other issues. Tomorrow I'm seeing marriage counseling. So after a while it can get into you.
Okay.
So we are taught to look for signs. And once you see signs, it's time to take a break.
Wow.
Take a break.
A girlfriend of mine, Pastor Nana, says that we need a mental holiday. How can like a leader take a mental holiday? Is there any mental holiday
Yes,
that you
I
can
think
take?
so. And I like that concept.
Yeah.
Mental holiday. Some people yes, and I like that. While I believe in taking 1 week vacation every year or 2 vacations every year, I feel like it's not effective.
Yeah.
It's not.
Okay.
You pile up and then read 2 weeks. That doesn't make sense. You know.
Okay.
And some people, you can even take physical vacation, but not mental vacation.
That's true.
Mental vacation is the ability to disconnect mentally. That is where the problem is.
Yeah, because sometimes you will be on vacation, you're still taking calls, you are still testing checks, you are still testing.
How was Sunday service? How was Wednesday?
So,
who paid tithe? Who didn't pay tithe? Are you gone or you are still here? So those are the things that we deal with. So we need to discipline our mind.
Okay.
That we are not God. And it's not easy. It's not easy to do.
Yeah.
As a pastor who has a church to take vacations, but we need to discipline our mind to mentally disconnect and enjoy your husband, enjoy your wife, enjoy vacation, enjoy your day off. If it's Monday, enjoy it. Watch some movie, play something, cook abetie, cook banku.
Yeah.
Do something different from ministry.
Okay.
Get something out of ministry so that you disconnect.
Okay.
I think that is what is hard. Some pastors feel like if I'm disconnecting, it's a sin against God. We need to be mentally and emotionally be able to disconnect.
Wow, that's good. Please, if you are watching, if you have any question, okay, any question concerning depression, oppression, no, whilst I'm here, is there a difference between depression and oppression?
Yes. So there's a difference between depression, oppression, and possession.
Okay, yes.
So I believe that possession is when a demon possesses your spirit.
Yeah, okay.
A demon cannot attack or live or possess a Christian because the Holy Ghost has already possessed you.
That's it.
Okay. But a demon can attack your mind.
Oh, okay.
But here is the problem. When we say a demon cannot possess your spirit, here's the problem. Your mind is also a spirit. Your soul is also a spirit. And your soul and your spirit are so intertwined. That makes it very difficult to say that it is very possible for... so now oppression can be anything about your mind, your body, attacks on everywhere. But mental health is pretty much inside your soul.
Okay.
And how to regulate the soul. That's the difference.
Wow. Okay, Pastor Nana, I'm waiting on you. Pastor Nana says that go to shopping with your girlfriends outside church and ministry. So, Pastor, I'm waiting on you. Come and get me and take me to shopping. I am into it.
Go to the mall. Do window shopping. Drive around.
Okay.
You know, so now you asked me one question earlier on about the church members. What are the practical steps they can take to overcome depression? Recognize the depression.
Okay.
Learn to take breaks. Learn to relax. In the Old Testament, if you don't observe the Sabbath, God will kill you.
Okay.
In the New Testament, we ignore completely the Sabbath altogether. Christians must take time for themselves. Eat healthy.
Yes.
If you're always eating junk, I can't have time to tell you about how junk rewire the brain.
I want you to touch it because, you know, that's one of the challenge. And
Yes.
I always tell people that you have to see your eating as a form of worship to God because
Yes.
He's living it.
This is your body.
The temple.
This is your temple.
So
It's a temple.
anything that you are putting in your body, you are feeding God.
Yes.
You know, so if you are eating junk, you know, but it's a very challenge.
It's a challenge. You are the chief in command of your mind.
Wow. Okay.
Whatever you feed your mind bring it back to you. So you feed your mind, what we call in therapy, what is fire together is wire together.
Wow.
What it means is that whatever you give to you, see, the human brain is like wires, it's neurons, neuron pathway. Whatever you give to the mind, it wires. So if you give it, it wires down. If you give it, it wires down. And then at time that begins to affect. Without a healthy brain, you don't have a healthy life.
That's it.
And what you eat, your mood follows your mood. Your food follows your mood.
Your mood.
Your food is going to follow your mood will follow the things you put inside. So eat healthy, drink a lot of water.
Yeah.
Minimize, I would say take away, sugar is deadly. It's going to destroy your brain. Okay? Drink a lot of water. But if you're eating pizza and then go and get soda, and then you, after pizza, sugar after sugar after sugar after sugar after year, it's going to affect the way you think.
Wow.
So eat healthy, recognize, drink water, exercise.
Okay.
See, walk around, exercise, impact the way the brain flows to the rest of the body. So these are all practical things. Mindfulness, meditation. And for one of the things, since I became a counselor, I recognize Christians, we have the best book in the world.
Oh, yeah.
The only book is the Bible.
That's it.
And still, believers don't know how to be still. Especially if you're from Africa, it's always, we don't know how to be in quietness and in confidence.
Okay.
It's your strength, Isaiah said.
Wow.
David says, be still and know that I'm God. The ability.
So if you are not still, you won't know.
You won't know.
It's powerful.
It's powerful. It took both silence and shout to bring the wall of Jericho down. People build walls around their life. Every day, take 2 minutes or 3 minutes, learn to practice quietness.
Okay.
So these are all practical tools that people can learn.
So please, if you are watching, thank you so much for watching, and please continue to share the video with somebody. Tag somebody to come in. Thank all of you that are watching. My mom is watching from New York. Thank you so much, Mom. Sister Janetta is watching. Thank you. My girlfriend, Pastor Nana, is watching. Thank you. Thank you, Pastor Enoch, from watching from Kenya. Thank you so much for joining us today. Thank you. Thank all of you for watching. You know, it's just amazing, just amazing. Please, if you have questions, we are talking about mental health. If you have questions, please ask your questions, especially those of you who are in leadership. You know that whatever you have and however you see yourself, it's rather unfortunate. It's what the anointing flow from the head, and that's what you are giving, you know, it to your people. So it's very, very important. We really, really, you know, take care of ourselves. And please, let's note, as Pastor is saying, let's note the signs. And don't ignore the signs.
Don't ignore the signs.
Because I think sometimes we
ignore the signs. Another area that we must talk about is trauma.
Okay, yes.
Trauma. Some people have had trauma in their childhood that they don't want to talk about. It becomes family secret. And it's eating them up. As one of the biggest, powerful, effective trauma that destroys you is sexual trauma.
Yes.
And the more silence you keep, the deadly it is. That it really eats you up. Do you know that between the ages of maybe 0 to 6 years, when a child experiences trauma in any form, it shrinks the size of their brain.
Wow.
And affect you, how you think. And you may not see the effect till 20 years, 25, 32, 36. You begin to recognize that something is not right with your thinking. So when people like that come to therapy, we do what we call psychosocial spiritual assessment. That means we capture a heavy load information of your background for us to see with lenses to see where the issues is coming from.
Yeah.
You may not even realize yourself what is causing, because one thing is what caused the problem.
Yeah.
Then there's what we call precipitants, something that is eating or feeding into the problem. What caused the problem is one thing, but something else is triggering the problem and making it more alive.
Okay.
And these are all the reasons why you want to talk to a professional counselor, wherever you are, New York, wherever you are, to really help you. There are also here that I want to say this. There's a difference between, people feel like if I go see a counselor, they're going to use secular things to, I remember when I went to Liberty University, I wanted to do psychology. It's the same thing that I'm doing now. But when they sent me the books, you know what I said? I said, this is the devil. Psychology is the devil. Because sometimes African people believe that psychology is satanic. But it simply means the study of the soul.
Of the soul.
Understanding how your soul works. So we need to understand that there are all kinds of Christian counselors out there who also I use prayer, I use the Bible, I use meditation, Christian meditation, all that to help my clients.
Wow. So you know that it's the whole, and I think it's all boiled down to the stigma.
The stigma,
thing,
yes. Stigma.
You know, and even sometimes when people are depressed, we take it, oh, you are mentally unstable.
Yes.
You know, but there's a difference between mental illness and depression.
So here's what the problem is. Mental illness simply means mental disorder.
Okay.
And a normal person may not be able, I wanted to bring you my book that we use to do diagnosis. A normal person may not be able to understand how we even make the diagnosis and how we come out with diagnosis. So crazy is the word. Mental illness doesn't mean crazy.
Okay. So what is the difference between mental illness and being crazy?
So being crazy the African way, where we put people in chains. In fact, I'm confidently sure that a lot of the people we have put them in chains in Africa could have been set free if they had spoken to a professional counselor.
Okay.
Because of the things we use to help people understand. Because it's the thinking and the feeling. See, how I think affects how I feel. And how I feel affects how I act.
Yes.
And when people experience the feeling of helplessness, that I can't help it anymore, the narrative, then that's when we begin to come alongside, begin to help them think right.
Okay.
Not only do we give them the tools, but we see to it that day by day, they are carrying out things. We look at resource. There's something called resource. We look at all what is around the person. Everything that around the person is healthy or not healthy.
Okay.
Is the person having a lot of his coping mechanism? Is it healthy or unhealthy? Some people, when the little thing that they do, the way they cope is wrong, and it keeps on strengthening it. So a lot of the things that in Africa we consider to be crazy is not crazy. It's mental health.
Wow.
But not the lack of knowledge, my people perish, comes into play right here. And
Okay.
My
mom have a question.
Okay.
How can let me read it from here.
Okay.
Okay. How can somebody seek help when they are is it refusing? No. To do so. Like, how can somebody seek help? You know, and I think I asked you that question, especially when it comes to us as pastors.
Yes.
You understand? Sometimes you even know that this person need help.
Yes.
But they are refusing
Yes.
help. So how can you step in
If you talk
to give help to
somebody who is skeptical about going to see a professional counselor, if you tell them and they don't want to take it, that it ends there.
Okay.
Unfortunately, it ends there. You know what we do? We describe a good client in our profession. I like to work with a good client. I don't want bad clients.
Okay.
So the question is, who's a good client and a bad client? It's not about the problems you bring to my office, but your willingness to want to change.
Okay.
So I have a system that I use to do assessment. 5 levels. I want to see where you are if you really want to change. If you don't want to change, thank you, Jesus. Bye-bye. Jesus even tested people when he came to want to see that they change. When people don't value what you have to deliver, it's difficult for them to recognize the importance of it. So as a pastor, if you talk to somebody who experiences depression to go see a professional counselor and they don't want to go, we cannot force the people. And even if you make them go, it's like a child says, even though I'm sitting down in my heart, I'm standing. There's nothing that can happen.
Because I really understand where my mom is coming from. And sometimes it looks like even you as a leader, your hands is tied. I mean, you really know that this person needs help. They don't want help. And especially, they don't want to change.
They don't want to change.
They just are comfortable
with the situation that they are in.
The situation they find themselves.
I know one pastor who died about 5 years ago. He complained to another pastor that he's getting too much. He complained that the issues in the church is really getting to him. And the pastor encouraged him to take a break. He did not. Within about 18 months, he had stroke. And within 6 years, he died.
Oh, no.
He died. He just died. Because stigma. Stigma means people feel like it's a sign of weakness for me to admit I'm having depression. Or it's a sign of shame that the pastor is depressed. And so they keep going. So just imagine even if pastors have difficulty admitting, how much more church members? So they feel like, as a strong man, now let me ask you, like somebody said, if you cry, it's a sign of weakness. We were in a rally, I took a test, I wanted to become a real estate agent.
Okay.
You know, because I said, I don't want to do ministry anymore, I'm just tired. I took the test and I failed.
Because God didn't want it.
God
even changed the answers himself.
And I called my wife, and I was crying. My wife says, don't let the devil see your tears. The devil, he has seen a lot. Before I called my wife, I had cried my tears all over the place. But in Africa, we say that, don't cry. So let me ask you, Jesus cried. Was he weak? Jesus cried. Was he weak?
No, he was not. But you see, the whole thing is, and which is important, sometimes culture.
Yes.
It's so hard.
It's hard.
You understand? Even Paul says that you make the gospel.
Yes, non-effect.
Because of.
Jesus said, because of your culture.
Of our culture.
Traditions.
So sometimes our tradition is so much, involved with how we respond to things, how we see things.
Yes.
But in fact, being here, sometimes I look at growing up. Okay.
Yes.
Growing up, how I was brought up.
Yes.
If it's America, my parents will be in jail.
Exactly. In fact, speaking to that, I want, this is a very important thing, our audience to know that if you are parenting your children here in America, please do not put a belt or something on their body. Really. See, for the work we do, right, as professional counselors, associate licenses. And maybe that's why people don't want to see a counselor, because sometimes, if you take your child to see a counselor or a social worker sees a mark on them, it can lead to a problem.
Yeah.
And I don't blame parents. You go to work, you come home, you are tired. You tell your child, clean your room, they don't clean your room, and they are on the phone, and you talk and talk and talk. You get tired. And sometimes you just want to give them physical punishment as opposed to discipline. But the laws here don't play.
Yeah.
The laws in America don't play. So we need to change the way we think. We oftentimes feel like when we're in Africa, some things that will happen for one to get depression, we may not get depression. I think it was happening, we just didn't know it.
Yeah.
We didn't know that people are getting depressed. It is now that we are educating the masses and the society to recognize that. So we really want to understand the culture differences and how culture can be so deadly that it will not help you improve your life in the name of culture.
Yeah. Oh, okay. Thank you so much. Those of you who are watching, please continue to share the video. If you have any question, please you can ask your questions. This mental health, I think, is in every home. We all are fighting, and especially parents, how to see the signs in your children and help them in a way that will not get worse. Okay, help them in a way that will help them to go through life without not any big issue at the end of it. And as parents, we really have to learn that. And also, even as a leader, how to really, Pastor Nana says that, take a mental holiday,
yes.
Which most of us don't take. We just go and go and go and go, but you have to know when, to just take a rest and just rest. Sometimes Mondays when I see Bishop, relaxing and everything, I will say something. He's like, I am off. Leave me alone. Let me chill.
Let me chill.
Let me chill. And I think it's important.
It's
not
very,
a sin.
very, very important.
You take care of, because this work is hard.
And then day after day after day, I think you were saying something very important, because some of the people who were watching didn't watch last time when we were talking about children getting depression. Please, if your child tells you I'm depressed, the way you respond is critically important. Wow. Whether or not they'll come to you again and express their feelings, or they will not come to you as a parent. We really want to, I've done a lot of YouTube videos on my YouTube video, KF Life Coaching. If there's a lot of information, when your child comes to you, say I'm depressed, please, just tell them, come sit down, let's talk. Come sit down, come sit down. Stop everything you do and ask your child, tell me more about it. Okay. What's going on? What's going on? And if they are crying, just cry with them and say, I just want to know. If it doesn't make sense, don't worry. Right now, put your heart somewhere, put your mind somewhere, put your African culture somewhere, and just provide a safe place where they can express how they feel. And don't offer quick fixes. You didn't clean your room, that's why. You don't supply. Then they don't talk anymore. So thank God that they are sharing. Thank God that they are sharing. And offer that support system. Then from then on, you encourage them to either talk to a pastor, talk to a professional counselor, but the first reaction is always important. If my child knows that I can provide a safe place for them to come home and tell me that, Daddy, my friend don't want to talk to me anymore. Daddy, I am sad. It happens. Yeah. It really happens. So as a parent, we must provide that safe place for them to be able to share and tell them it's okay that you feel this way, and work from there, putting them in the right direction, that they can get some professional support. Wow,
thank you so much once again for joining me, talking about depression. Can a Christian be depressed? What are the causes of depression? This is must watch again. So even after the show, you want to really take your time and go through it. Me as a parent, I'm learning. I have 3, and I'm still learning a lot of things to really help me to take care of my family. Is very, very important.
Can I read something? This from Nana. It says, I remember when I was closer to having my last baby, I cried every day for about 2 weeks before I had my baby. And initially, I didn't even know, why I was crying. And I could not believe myself that I was crying, because I'm a very strong person. Later, I realized that my mom was with me when I had my other kids. But this time, I was going to be alone. I thought I was going to be okay. You see, and that's one of the things about women who are pregnant. My wife cried a lot. At the time, I didn't know how to cook. Because let me tell you, I learned how to cook a hard way. I was cooking the first time I cooked. You know what I did? I used eggplant I thought green pepper was eggplant. Can you believe it?
Oh,
And
that's
very serious. Don't talk too much. It's okay.
That's the whole show topic. Oh my God, Pastor, that's bad.
No, we'll talk about that later.
Yeah.
But here, because I felt for my wife that, you know, if you are pregnant and you don't have anybody here, it's kind of hard. So when I had good intentions, but I didn't have the skills. It's sad, you know.
Yeah.
But this is where it gets tricky for women when they are going to have a child and they feel alone and they carry much weight and they are in the hospital. In fact, my first child, when we were waiting for her to be baby and I went home to sleep.
Wow. You couldn't find a chair in the hospital?
I needed some counseling at the time.
Oh my God.
So I have come a long way, you know what? So all this happened to women, pregnancy, and that all that can cause depression.
Wow.
Yeah, it does.
And I mean, I know this one of my parties, and I know how strong she is, but you know, and I can feel her pain.
Yeah.
You know, because her firstborn mom was there and everything, and mom wasn't anymore. Has passed away.
Oh.
You know, not even just like going to Ghana.
So it can even trigger the grief.
So mom passed away before the other ones, and I could feel, you know, her thinking that, and sometimes, that's why I say that sometimes she was crying and she didn't know why she was crying. So you wouldn't even know how to, you know, help her. All that you have to do. Why are you crying? I mean,
exactly.
You know, you are
it's
fine.
okay. It's okay. It's okay.
Things.
Yeah.
But I want to ask her a question. So, Pastor, how were you able to figure out and stop crying?
Yes.
If you can share it with us, how were you able to, you know, figure out that, okay, this is because mom is not here, that's why I'm feeling this, and how do you come out of it? I think it will help somebody if you can share. You can share with that. Then she says that, and it was during COVID, and no one could come over.
Wow.
Okay, so that even make it worse.
In fact, the COVID has caused a lot of depression.
I was going to ask that.
Studies say that a lot of Chinese took their lives during COVID time.
What, because we were bringing it on them? I didn't even say we. I didn't.
That's so funny.
I didn't blame it on that.
But
that wasn't
it's very interesting what we found in research.
Wow.
Yeah, that because people felt very, very lonely.
Yeah.
You know, and compound with losing their jobs and businesses and all that can cause a lot of challenges for them. So in the time of COVID, we are still recovering from COVID.
Yeah.
You know, so here's one thing that you don't want to do. Depression, if depression is a spirit, its strength, one of its strengths is to separate you from people.
Yes. That is what I was going to ask you to end this show with.
It's the depression. That is why Elijah left his servant there. He went ahead and said, Lord, kill me. I'm tired. I'm tired. The one sign that will let you know that you are getting is that when you begin to separate yourself from the body, from your family, from your spouse, from people, and you get, because once you do that, then you begin to go deeper in the hole. One way, on the other hand, one way to overcome depression is the ability to associate with people.
Okay.
Even I have told some people, my clients, pick a phone call, call your mother, pray for her, pray for your father, call your brother, call your sister, call somebody, do something. In fact, the service, giving service to another human being is a powerful way to get refreshed by yourself.
Yeah.
I don't know why Jesus washed the feet of the disciples, and it's not a doctrine, but I wish we could practice that today.
Yeah.
The ability to wash one another's feet. It happened to me in one day when I was planting a church. But here's the truth. To help somebody, to give service to somebody, giving to God, doing God's work, doing something somewhere can all impact how you feel.
That is very, very good. That's one of my strengths.
That's good.
What wake me up, I always say what wake me up is Hands of Grace,
Yeah.
the charity wing.
Yeah, that's good.
That wake me up.
That's good.
Thinking,
Yeah.
okay, what can I do? What can I help these pastors who are in remote areas that nobody care about them, just them and their family, they don't have anything. How can I help them? How
Yes.
can I help the orphans, the children
Right.
that are going to school? You know, so when I wake up, it's not just for myself.
Right.
You are living for somebody.
And that is
it's the greatest feeling ever.
That is the issue of, we call it self-absorption.
Wow.
Too much self is a fast link to depression.
That's okay.
If all you think about is me,
yeah.
it's always self. When you can get out of yourself and think about somebody,
wow,
it's a freedom.
That's it. That's great.
And these are all the things practical tools that people can take and get healed.
That is great. Okay, so Pastor Nana have answered.
Okay.
She said, I started talking about it with my midwife and husband. And my husband and brother-in-law who were home took care of me during my postpartum period.
Yes.
So that is a key.
Postpartum depression
Yeah.
is, just like I said, how can a normal woman who has a baby get depression after you have delivered a child? And the child is, we put a child on your lap. Why would you be depressed? But depression doesn't come because of negative alone. It's just major life change.
Wow.
That's the key.
Okay.
Major life change, whether negative or positive, can cause depression. It's very possible for somebody a pastor who has struggled for church growth, and one day maybe somebody give you a church of 10,000 members and you get depressed.
And you don't know how to handle it. You better want your 20 back, your 20 that you can manage.
And what people don't realize is you must know more about your mental capacity.
Yeah.
Know how much you can take, since you are not Jesus. Know how much you can take, because stress is silence, and when it's building, you may not know. So it's a great show, and thank you so very much.
Wow. Lady Vicky says that great information. It is really a great information. That's why you don't want to keep it for yourself. Please, just even after the show, continue to share it. If you're on Instagram, we are there, you can share it. We are on YouTube, you can share it there. You can share it on Woman of Influence page. This is something that I think everybody have to know about it. We don't talk about it much as we need to talk about, but anytime God gives us the grace, we will, bring some light to it. I'm not here to say that prayer is not good. I'm not here to say that you don't have to pray. You have to pray.
Yeah.
You have to fast. You have to trust God for great and mighty things.
Yes.
That is my life. That is my testimony. But at the end of it all, when it's overwhelming and you need somebody to talk to, please. My papa, Bishop Franco Suapia, always says that there is a blessing in relationship. There's a blessing in friendship, okay? And sometimes God bless us with some amazing people.
Yes.
I have my share of it. I mean, my mom, Apostle Barbara Cornell, is watching. It's a blessing to have her in my life.
Yes.
This year, I've been through a lot. I don't even know why I'm still sitting here. I've been through a lot, and she has been there every time, every moment, every step. Sometimes even if I don't call her, she will call me and say, why didn't you call me to tell me what's going on? And she encouraged me. She, sent me messages. It's just a blessing to have people like that. And sometimes it's just a phone call away.
Yeah, it is.
Okay, it's just a phone call away. Call somebody.
It is.
You always have to have somebody that you can call that will not judge you.
Yes.
Okay, I go to my mom's church and preach. And when I'm crying, I can still call her.
Yes.
And she will hear me crying.
That's
and
good.
she won't say that, that mighty woman of God, why are you crying?
Yes.
those are some people that sometimes you need, okay? And there's nothing wrong with it. God bless us with. You always have to have somebody that you can call. So thank you so much for watching the show today. Pastor Kwame will have some last words, and then we will call it a day.
So if you're a pastor and you are watching, please, it is okay to direct people to seek for professional assistance. It doesn't mean that you are weak, you are not powerful enough, and you're not prayerful enough. It means that God is a big God, and we cannot put God in the box, and he heals in many different ways. So as pastors, we can be encouraged to educate people to seek professional help. In couple with prayer and deliverance, I believe in all that. So it is great thing. Now, if you're a church member, please don't keep things to yourself. Elijah told God. In fact, when Elijah complained, God's assignment was to anoint Elisha. Why? Because he needed somebody that he can share with, somebody who can speak his language. You need to talk to somebody. Don't keep things to yourself. Don't let stigma keep you in silence. Help is on the way. A lot of everybody will have depression, but all of us will also have breakthrough. There's always a way out of it. The good news is we can overcome it in Jesus' name.
Amen.
So I pray that you have that hope. But trying to solve your own issue by yourself, you were not wired for that. God made us all. Everybody needs somebody. I pray that God bless you. God lift up the light of his countenance upon you and give you hope. Share this program. And can I tell them, if you need more support, you can go to, I have a lot of things on my YouTube, KF Life Coaching, and you can get more information from there. We will see you next time.
Yeah, this will not be the last time Pastor Kwame is on our chair. Actually, he used to leave like an hour and a half, and sometimes I feel so guilty he driving to come here. But guess what? Jesus is good. Jesus is merciful. Now he leaves a couple of minutes from here. So you're going to see him very much here because he is full. He's full. He can pray and cast the demon out of you, and still give you good and wonderful information, after that. So this is a person that you want to deal with. So woman of influence, we just want to say thank you so much, Dr. Kwame, for coming, and God bless you. Please continue to share the video, and you will see Dr. Kwame very, very soon, before the year ends, I can assure that. But once again, join us next Tuesday. We are talking about women in ministry, and some of the marvelous things that God is using women to do for the kingdom of God. We're going to highlight one of my best friends who is in ministry and what God is using her to do. So join me next Tuesday, same time at Tuesday. God bless you, and we'll see you. Bye-bye.
Bye-bye.
Thank you for taking time out to join us today. We pray that today's discussion will encourage and help you moving forward as a man or woman of influence. We look forward to seeing you next week as we explore another topic of interest. The preceding program is sponsored by the partners and friends of Women of Influence and GraceplaceTV. For more information on the Women of Influence show, please visit our website at www.womenofinf.com or follow us on our various social media platforms. You can watch our past episodes on our Women of Influence YouTube channel. Please be sure to like and subscribe. If you have a question, comment, inquiry, or testimony, we would like to hear from you. Feel free to email us. This show will not be possible without the support of viewers like you. If you would like to partner with us or donate to the Women of Influence show, you may do so by any of the provided mediums. Thank you.
Women of Influence. The glory of the Lord shine on you.